Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. Yes, it's cold again this morning. We're out here before the sun comes up, trying to get some carrots harvested for Miss Wanda to be canning while I'm working on the cabin. And we're going to start off with the challenge they had, being they call this, her and Amanda from Freedom Acres call this the professional garden. Then we're going to look at the love garden that they had. We're going to see how the carrots compare. These are the Danvers half long. I showed you the procedure of how I plant them. And yeah, you see Hank is going ballistic in the background. So we've turned him loose to let him play a little bit today. But we're going to pull a few carrots up, see how the Danvers half long's done. The freeze took its toll on them, but we're going to see how they actually fared. So here we go. Not bad. It's a good looking carrot, maybe 6 or 8 inches long, 1.5 inches at the top. Good looking carrot. So we see they're starting out fairly decent. And guys, look at these. These carrots are spaced roughly 1.5 inches, 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart, some of them 2 inches apart. And this is the kind of carrot you get. You don't want your carrots thickly bunched up or they'll be little. Now we didn't get all of ours thinned out. I can show you what it looks like where they're thick at. Like here, see this? This is the same age carrot. It just didn't get thinned out as well. Now these are still good for canning, good for salads and stuff like that. But you want to thin your carrots if you want big carrots. You'll see it's got the length that the other one had. See that? It's got the same length, but look at the difference in the size. This is what happens when you thin them. This is what happens where they're not thin. So you want to make sure you definitely thin them out between 1 to 2 inches between each carrot. Now we're going to continue looking. Some of them's a little hard to pull up, but look at this. That one's even longer. Look at that. Those are beautiful. We're going to continue pulling more carrots up out of here, and then we're going to show you the love garden, and we're going to see how they compare. Now, y'all see a lot of greenery behind me. This is red top clover, the red crimson. It's adding nitrogen back into our soil. It's about this deep. It'll get about that deep. We just leave it. We don't mow it down. It's a good nitrogen builder for our blackberries, our pecans, our carrots, and stuff like that. We put nitrogen back into our soil here naturally. So that's what all this thickness is you see behind me. Probably in a month, we'll be mowing all this down and it'll look like a manicured yard again. These carrots, if you'll notice, I'm going to show some close-up pictures. They got little hairs hanging all off of them. I probably should have pulled these about 2 weeks ago. But the weather, my health, the cabin, everything's played into it. And we didn't really get them out before the little hairs formed on them. It's not going to hurt them. It's just that you'll see them on them. And don't let that bother you, because they're still perfectly good.
These are the love carrots. I planted one side, Amanda planted the other. And so we have weeds that have come up, these little things here. The turkeys got into them. We had a border around it. The fire ants got into it, so we took the border down to give it some chance. And we're just going to see what the love carrots did with all the obstacles they had. Danny's, for whatever reason, things just did not happen. So, and ours are spaced out reasonably, planted the same time. You know, 2 little ones, 1 big one. Those would still grow. I'm looking to see if the biggest, I mean, these are decent sized carrots, but nothing compared to Danny's. They had obstacles. Now see, hey, if they were all like that, it's great. They're in more clumps. I didn't get these thinned like I should have, probably. And they're more in spaces. Not sure. Ah, look at there. So there's going to be some bigger carrots. I'm just going to have to be more selective with mine and leave some, because like in this clump, there's enough there that I can leave some, let them keep growing through the summer. But some of them are going to need to come out. But at least we got a few carrots that are going to look good. We'll show you the end results. I'm going to keep mine separate from Danny's, and we'll show you what we end up with.
I've pulled a bunch of the biggest ones out. I thinned some of the others, and you see I'm still leaving patches of carrots because these have not gotten very big, and they can continue to grow, I guess. That's what I'm saying. So I've still got a lot of carrots here. And overall, I'm pretty proud of what Amanda and I did with the Love Garden. This has, with all its issues, still has quite a few carrots in it. And not a bad haul. Not a bad haul for carrots. Look at the size of some of these carrots. I'm talking longer than my hand. Look how big around. Amanda and I can be proud. Now, I pulled some smaller ones because it had to be thinned out. But look at these carrots. Quite a few big carrots. Guys, the Love Garden was a success, even though they are not as big as Danny's. Some of them are as big around as Danny's. I mean, look at this carrot. Isn't that huge? So, overall, we give the Love Garden a thumbs up. We should just put a little more love into it. Now I'm going to show you the professional harvest. Danny just pulled sporadically at his and left a bunch. And overall, look how many carrots are still left in his. I mean, you can see he just pulled in spots. And there's still a lot of carrots here. So we're going to have carrots for a while. He just pulled the biggest ones. Let me show you the professional garden harvest. Okay, this is what Danny took out of his. They're all pretty uniform. The size and the length are pretty close in all of his. I'm going to show you that one in a minute. And look, this is enough carrots for me to do a batch with my carrots today. And you saw how many he still has left to go. Look at this one. Y'all, that is one huge carrot. I'm talking gigantic. What do you think, guys? That is the largest carrot I think I've seen in a long, long time, especially in our garden. And you hear Danny in the background, of course. Huge. So you hear the bird in the background. Sounds like he's saying, good teacher, good teacher, good teacher. Danny is a good teacher. I've got a bucket of water here. I've got my handy little garden stool that I use. And this is the love carrots. That over there is the first of the professional garden. I've got my knife. I've washed these carrots off. So what I'm doing is, to save time in the house, I go ahead and cut the tops off and I'll put them aside. The chickens love them. I don't worry about this kind of stuff right now. They've been rinsed off pretty good, and I'm just dropping them over in my water. The love garden did produce quite a few nice carrots. So the parts for the chickens and the part for us. And I'm gonna go through and get the carrots. Now, these little ones like this do great in salads. You don't have to throw those away, guys. You can can them whole like that. They're awesome. So don't throw away anything. If you produced it, it's going to get to where you need to eat it. And these were just from thinning out. And you can see the love garden did some beautiful carrots. It's just that not all of them were the same size. Danny's were pretty uniform. Mine and Amanda's were more little, big, medium, whatever. But they still eat. And I'll have a pile of food here for the chickens in a few minutes, and then we'll get on with Danny's side. And I'll show you when I get them all washed, how the amount from the love garden versus the professional garden. Of course, you know there's more, and when we can, there'll be more of the professional because these are not as big, but still, I consider that a pretty good harvest from the love garden. I just think we did some pretty awesome carrots regardless of how they did look. So I'll finish up with this and we'll get into the kitchen. Okay, I incorporated a little bit of help. These girls want to run to town, so I told them they had to help cut the tops off the carrots. And then we're headed to town so they can get a little food and stuff they need. I love my big blue Tupperware bowl. This thing is holding a lot of carrots. And this bucket is holding the love carrots. Isn't that crazy? About half of a, I don't know, maybe a 2-gallon bucket. This is holding about 2.5 gallons or more of a 5-gallon bucket of professional carrots. So the carrots we have here, I cut off the little ends. We've got the big ends cut off. I use a Rada peeler. These things are awesome. And you can see I've washed them a couple of times, but there's still dirt. Now you can sit and scrub your carrots and you don't have to do this, but I'm going to feed this to the chickens, to the pigs. They get benefit. And Rada just, man, this thing is awesome. If you guys have one of those little cheap things from the dollar store or Walmart or something, throw it away. Pay $10. I'm going to put a link in the description below for a Rada peeler. Everybody that's tried mine would not have anything else. And so we're going to just peel the carrots. I'll wash them. We're going to cut them up. And we're ready to can. So now we're fixing to start canning carrots. First we harvested, then we washed them off. I cut the tops off, had the girls help me, brought them inside, washed them again, peeled them with a Rada peeler. Then I washed them and cut them up. That way you know they're pretty much clean. Now sometimes if you do not want to take up and peel your carrots, if they're homegrown carrots, and you want to just scrub them really well, you can spend all that time scrubbing, that's fine. Either way. But if you're going to leave the peeling on your homegrown carrots, my thought is I would hot pack, which means you process them 5 minutes in boiling water, which will pull any dirt out of the crevices before you start packing them into your jars. So, Ball, the Blue Book, that's what I use, guys. We have 3 of these. I always go to this one. This is my favorite one. It's actually a dark blue looking color. We have a yellow one and I think a red one or something. So this is my favorite one. The recipes for canning are the same. They have recipes for extra stuff changes off and on. Okay, so with carrots, if you're going to hot pack, like I said, once you get them sliced, you put them in boiling water 5 minutes and then put them in your jars. I'm going to do the cold pack or the raw pack. I'm not cooking my carrots before I cook my carrots. It's just easier that way, saves time. I have on the stove, I have my canner ready. It's got the water up to the line, and you don't want to overfill your canner. Read your directions, find out how much water goes in there. There's usually a line in there that tells you how much water to put for pints, quarts, whatever. So mine is right along in here. I have it done. My water's heating up. Here I have boiling water, clear, plain water. That's what I'm using to cover my carrots. If you're hot packing, do not use the water that you blanched your carrots in. When you put your carrots in there for 5 minutes and you take them out, discard that water. Put on clear, fresh, boiling water to pack in your jars. Whether you hot pack or raw pack or cold pack, whichever way you want to call it, have fresh, boiling water. On the back, I have water going. I always heat my jars. Not a lot of people do this, but I do. I heat my jars, I heat my lids. So I have all my jars washed, my lids are here. I have all my cooking utensils, like this is my funnel that I like to use. This is my magnet that picks up my lid so my fingers don't get wet and hot in the water. I have this little doodad that picks up the jars so that I don't break them. We have our mat. We were sent this mat. It's a rubber mat. I love it. This thing comes in handy. It just saves bumping stuff, whatever. It's rubberized. It has these little things. You can use it on this side with the little prongs, but I didn't like that. I tended to make more of a mess there than I do here, and so I like the smooth side up. I have a mat in the back that you can get in at Walmart. It's a drain mat, like you would drain your dishes on. I keep one of those. I keep my jars on it. Here we have our carrots. I'm hoping this is enough carrots to do 9 pints. And then I've got more sitting in 2 different places to go. So if I don't have enough to fill my 9 jars, I can quickly just slice up what the excess I need. When you raw pack, that's an easy deal. Okay, so we're ready to go. And I'm going to be packing jars with raw carrots, half a teaspoon of salt for a pint. And if you're going to use a quart, it's 1 teaspoon for a quart. Okay, so when you process your carrots in the pressure canner, and we just have a Presto canner. We do not have any other kind. This is the only kind I use. So we process pints for 25 minutes, quarts for 30 minutes. So we have a lot of people asked about using a glass top stove. I've been here 6 years.
I've been using this stove. Danny's been here longer than that. I think this stove is approximately 12 or 14 years old. So this stove has been canned on a lot in 12 and 14. I'm not talking just a canner every now and then. If you saw any videos last year, I did my canning plus I barter canned. And that meant I did double canning every day for months. And so this is something that got a lot of use. And so far, we've not had any issues with our the electric stove here. And I'm not saying you will or won't. I just know this stove and how it works for us, it works fine and dandy.